You're watching Morning at NTV.
Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Malaki Viloder. I hope you enjoyed the music band. Yeah, we're trying to do it differently this month, being a festive month. It is the 17th of December, so we're just, counting down to Christmas. Time check, it is 7:10, so time to have our conversation here on Kickstarter. And today we'll focus on how you can place yourself in the housing sector, how to invest come next year. So in case you've been looking at, owning, a set of flats or a house for rent or getting into the mortgage space, this is the conversation that you need to tune in to. And so to help us understand that particular sector is Mr. Andrew Mugerwa. He is the manager of mortgages at Housing Finance Bank. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let's start off at that point, because when we talk about any immovable kind of infrastructure or kind of building or structure that someone owns, then rental income tax comes into play. So first, let's understand mortgages. What exactly are mortgages, just for the sake of the viewer who really doesn't understand that?
Okay, good morning, viewers. Mortgage is a very simple term, and in its simplicity, I'll term it as any loan taken against collateral. Let it be property or an estate is a mortgage. Of course, there are various definitions. The lawyers have it different. They say it's the document itself that binds the financial institution and the borrower. But in simple terms, it is that financing against collateral. Against collateral? Yes.
Okay. And someone would ask then, if there's two options of owning, for example, property, a building, any type of building, then there are two options. You can either go for a mortgage, like you're saying, it's a type of a loan, quote unquote, but you end up owning it before you pay off everything. Yes. And also there's, just buying it lump sum cash or whatever form. I pay everything and it's my own. Yes. So when we talk of mortgages, who exactly is eligible to applying for such?
Okay, mortgages are to everybody. Everybody can access a mortgage as long as there's a verifiable income.
Of what amount?
Okay, we wouldn't really say that there's a cutoff of an amount of income you should have, because our GDP per capita places an average Ugandan at about hardly 350,000 shillings. But even at 350,000 shillings, you can get a mortgage of up to about 15 million shillings spread over a period between 5 to 20 years.
Really?
Yes. So the first step always to property ownership is an urban plot loan, and of course for our lower cadres who are earning about the GDP per capita amount, probably will first qualify for an urban plot loan as an entry point to property ownership. After acquiring a plot of land or space to build, then we look at the mortgage itself of construction. So it is hard for the lower people in the lower pyramid to pay cash. So as Housing Finance, we have developed products that help our people to incrementally acquire property. For example, you can draw a plan and lift one bedroom, a plan of 3 bedrooms, and lift only 1 bedroom, and you're comfortable and you're sleeping. I just call upon our viewers to always scale down. Let us always scale down. Let us dream big, but scale down. Let us do things in bits.
In bits?
Yes. So we invite everybody, first and foremost, for financial literacy at Housing Finance Bank. We offer the service free across our network.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And when you talk about there being different products and different options when it comes to the mortgage space, which one is more expensive or which one is more affordable? Is it a mortgage for me to build a house, or a mortgage to own an already built house?
First, it depends on your objectives as a person. If you want to, if you can save, then you can own. You can save that amount of money to enable you buy property. Of course, it is hassle-free and you'll get it with flexibility, because you just point, you have the money and you just point and get the property. In the absence of the saving and the lump sum amounts that are involved in purchase, then you've got to go the construction way.
Really?
Yes.
I can't get a mortgage to purchase an already built house.
Yes, you can get a mortgage.
Yeah.
But I was just comparing the two.
Okay.
We have products for purchase where we want our people to contribute 20%, and for construction they contribute 30%. That is a kind of commitment for them to get into the project. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And when you talk about the, of course, the guys who earn 350,000 per month, them being able to access actually a mortgage, what happens? And of course, these are people who have, you know, a consistent monthly income, so pretty much they're employed. Then what happens to them that are in, informal sector, them who are self-employed, who are not assured that every single month I'm assured of a 350,000 kind of income profit? So are there products that are skewed to ensure that them that are in the informal sector can actually acquire such kind of benefits with mortgage?
Okay, our people who earn that money are usually in the informal sector.
Okay.
And the informal sector is characterized by lack of documentation, especially on the side of income. So at Housing Finance, we have developed means of assessing that income, assessing the cash flows to see, we average out and see the minimum you can get per month after looking at your various activities that, from which you get money. So we have the expertise, and we welcome the informal sector. They are also eligible to getting mortgages. Yes.
Okay, brilliant. That's good news. So in case you're in the informal sector, you can still own a property through mortgages. Let's get into it and let's touch on the rental income tax. For example, I want to get a mortgage with Housing Finance Bank. Then we get into the paperwork and everything. I'm eligible, I've met the requirements, and we kick it off. So I get this particular set of flats that I'm paying mortgage to, and I'm lucky enough to ensure that every single unit in that flat is occupied by tenants. And we know once you own a piece of building and you have, you know, tenants coming, then you are eligible to pay rental income tax, provided you actually meet up the threshold of,
Yes.
is it 2.82 million shillings?
Yes.
So if I get to that point whereby I'm actually collecting so much money out of my flats and I'm still paying a mortgage, should I also be paying my rental income tax as well? And I'm still paying off my mortgage?
Yes, of course, while you operate in this economy, we've got to abide by the laws in the land. And some of these, like you've said, every rental property is supposed to pay rental tax. Now, the rental tax, while you calculate your disposable from which you pay the installment, you've got to factor the expenses after the income for you to arrive at the disposable from which you pay your installment.
When you talk of expenses, does it also factor in the cost of mortgage that I'm paying to the bank? Or it's independent of that?
Of late, I think URA is trying to understand the cry of the public, and they want to accept the repayment of the mortgage as an expense. Before it was, the expenses were the property itself, security, the common lighting, and management of the common areas of the rental property, because not everybody is going to take care of the common areas. So those were the things I think URA was looking at as expenses. Of late, I think they are changing. They are being flexible, and they're accepting the repayment of the mortgage as an expense. Oh, yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. So at least that we know. And let's get to that point where, okay, fine, I'm paying a mortgage for this set of flats. When I'm ready to actually start opening up my units for tenants to get in, will Housing Finance Bank actually help me to come up with a, measurable rate, monthly rate that the tenants will be paying up, just to ensure that I am still in business, that I afford to pay off my mortgage, and it's pretty much a sail through for me. Because we've seen many landlords of late, crying foul, saying that, okay, fine, we're paying rental income tax, I'm still paying my mortgage, so I have to mark up my monthly, kind of rent, the rent that my tenants will be paying. So does Housing Finance Bank come in to just look at the numbers and see where the landlord can balance out? Okay,
I think first and foremost, when a developer is taking on a project, so the apartment types,
right,
they need to do their mathematics first. They need to do a little research in such areas where they want to develop. What kind of rent will they attract? And if you're coming for a mortgage at Housing Finance, we will look at the mathematics of the project. We will not get into just to finance you. That's why I pointed out that we do financial literacy at Housing Finance Bank. So we'll look at the area, what kind of rent that location attracts, vis-a-vis the project amount you want to sink on the ground to raise the apartments. So in case you wish to put up the apartments at an exorbitant project amount, and you don't want to compare with the rental income in the area, then your contribution has to be substantial.
Substantial?
Yes.
But meaning I'll pay it for a shorter period of time?
Yes, even if you stretch it for 20 years. If your cash flows can allow, we allow for early redemption.
Oh.
Yes, and so back to the question, Housing Finance will not tell you that put up this and you'll get so much. No, it will depend on the market forces. And that we do before we get into the mortgage arrangement.
So yes. I can wake up today and decide to increase my rent, for example, in the coming year by plus 100,000, and Housing Finance Bank will be okay with that?
Well, that is on the developer side,
okay,
the owner of the property.
Right.
Whether you increase rent, for us, what we want is to have a comfortable relationship where you have your obligation and you're meeting it on time.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So the part about increasing the rent, really we don't get into. Yes.
Okay.
But although it may affect you, because if you increase rent, you may experience tenant flight.
Right.
If you're in Naguru, they will go to Chaliwajala, say, where prices, the rental prices are a little low. Yeah.
Okay, so you actually don't touch on that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to hear why kind of landlords increase our rent without even giving us notice, why they're actually forced to increase this particular rent. So let's take a look at what Mr. Ruben Mwesije, the MD of Bamwe Villas, had to say with regards to rental income tax. Let's take a look.
To me, it's not a very good idea, especially when government is encouraging, when there is housing deficit in this country, it's going to discourage developers like me, to venture into housing estate, because it will be not profitable. It will be a non-profitable venture if they continue to do that. You would be wise to peg your costs on a dollar. That's what everybody is doing. Even rentals, everything is being charged in dollars because of the instability of the shilling. Right from land purchase, making a road, providing electricity, providing water, and all that, it pushes up costs, to developers like us. But in other countries, it's different. In Rwanda, for instance, it's done. Then you come in and put your man on the ground, physical construction. I think it should be the same here.
So landlords don't want to pay rental income tax. Is that reasonable, and is it attainable? At some point, maybe you already may think, okay, fine, don't pay taxes. Is it possible, really?
Well, like I said, while we operate in a country, we need to abide by the laws of the country. And whereas we have heard that it is possible to evade taxes, it is not the right thing to do. And despite the tax, of course, it pushes up the rental prices.
Right.
Yes, and it's a pinch on the public. But it's not right to evade, of course.
But is there a tax band on the rent, the rental income tax that landlords have to pay, or it's just one blanket figure? If it's 30%, it's 30% for all, regardless of what they get from the rent?
Recently, there was, I think, a review. It is tiered. Landlords that don't earn a certain amount, I forget the amount, I was trying to think, but I can't have the figure right now, are not supposed to pay rental tax.
Right. I think it was 2.82 million after deductions. That's
that is
net annual gross income. Yes.
Yes, they're not supposed to pay.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you're above that amount, then you're eligible to pay. Yeah.
Yeah, true. As of course on the net, not on the gross.
It's on the net after deducting expenses.
After deducting expenses.
Administrative expenses.
Okay, brilliant. So as you come to a close, just let us in on this one. What would you want the viewers to learn today? And what is the take home today with regards to owning a home through mortgages, or owning land at that through mortgages?
I would like to inform our viewers that housing finance is one of the entry points to property ownership, and we invite all of you to come and first of all experience our literacy, financial literacy. Secondly, we will take you through how to get a mortgage, how to own your own property. If you're coming from university, say, the average amount you earn from an institution that can employ you is between 1.5 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. That is what I recollect. And if you're paying rent of about the same, you may have to think twice. Instead of increasing your rent year by year, think twice, come and we talk at Housing Finance. We will take you through how you can own your property. And one of the things that we drive at Housing Finance and is about how we can increase the number of affordable units that the public can buy into. So we have seen before that property has been expensive, and the developers have been providing high-end houses and property for purchase.
Right.
But because of our people and nature of our income, those properties have remained on the market for some good time until probably they get a windfall of a person, maybe a diaspora or anybody. But as a country, we need to think about providing housing at affordable amounts.
Okay.
Yes, and we have those solutions. We have a dedicated team in doing research and development at Housing Finance Bank, and one of the things they're driving is how we can push the affordable prices.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for coming in the show. Of course, now you have all the information that you need. You can actually get into the mortgage space. The myth has been it's quite expensive compared to buying cash, property. But now you can just walk into the offices and get all the numbers calculated for you. That has been it for Kickstarter. Keep your views coming. The hashtag is morning at NTV across all the social media platforms. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Mugerwa.
Thank you very much.
Manager of Mortgages Housing Finance. Thank you so much for coming in the show.
Yes, yes.
Don't go away. Up next is Andrew Tomagero with Morning Reality on the Ground. Keep it here.